3, 2, 1. I'm Lisa Petrillo, and I am live on South Beach.
All right. Hi, I'm Stuart Stewart.
And I'm Dina Stewart.
And we're live on South Beach. A show with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And first of all, I want to start off the show by welcoming our newest sponsor, the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce. And hopefully this week, or maybe even by the time this show is up, you'll be able to go to our website and link right on to Visit Miami, which will tell you everything that you need to know about hotels and restaurants and welcome you here to Miami Beach.
As we've mentioned many times, Lincoln Road is a very special place, and every time we come up to Lincoln Road, there's something different. These are some of the sights and sounds we see.
Well, you know, I have an idea. We'll start the show with the sights and sounds of Lincoln Road, and then we'll end the show with one more sight and sound from Lincoln Road.
Or two more sights and sounds of Lincoln Road.
So let's get on with the show.
I'm Jodie Poster, and I'm alive on South Beach.
And not only is she alive on South Beach, but today's her birthday. And I'm going to ask her, since it's your birthday, to recite your favorite poem.
I'd be more than happy to do that. This is called Acid Rap. Red slithering down like day glow, acid rain. Times have changed, Russian brain. Just old, no longer bold. Wrap my head in cellophane. Kerouac, Sartre, Stein, Wall, Warhol, Siegel, Christo, awe. Aquarian age, leery sage, all the rage flow off the page. Find my id, flip my lid, on the road, loosen hold, Bria gong, wooden bong, Erica Jong, Woodstock throng. 60s psych, Harley bike, going to berserkly strike. Love your brother and his wife. Don't think twice, it's alright. Main line, mellow vine, bullseye vein, body drain, crimson stain in the night. Don't think twice, it's alright. Don't think twice, 'cause it's alright.
Wow. How long have you been writing your own poems?
Since I was 13. That might date me a little bit, but...
Well, that's only, what, 10 years?
10 years, yeah, 10 years.
Well, on your 24th birthday, we're going to come back again, and you can do another poem.
I'd be so happy. I'm looking forward to that, guys, and I so appreciate it. Thank you for giving me that chance.
Thank you. My next guest is a special friend, and you'll see what I mean, because here he is. This is Roger Abramson, and he's known for different things with different people. Like here on Miami Beach, he's a community activist and also an artist who created the largest dreidel in the world and a giant size menorah, all made out of shells. But outside of Miami Beach, if you ask anybody in the music business, this is one of the great international presenters of the great artists of the world. Everything from the Metropolitan Opera and the New York City Ballet to the who's who of rock in the 60s. And I'm talking about The Who, the Rolling Stones, Janis Joplin, Bob Dylan, Led Zeppelin. The list can just go on and on. But recently, this man joined a very unique group of individuals. He is among the first 20 inductees in the Civil Rights Hall of Fame. And let me tell you, that is a very esteemed crowd. So anyway, welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you.
I gotta ask you, you got involved in the civil rights movement back in the 50s. What attracted you or pulled you into it or said this is where you have to go?
Well, I think that back in the 50s and the 60s, when we got involved in civil rights and other types of activist situations, it was because you felt a need to make a change. And when I got inducted into the Civil Rights Hall of Fame, I always felt that I was merely a representative of a whole group of people, of upper middle class Jews and Christians that all of a sudden saw a need. And it wasn't like today where you needed to be a celebrity. You went, and maybe you already, if you lived up north, went to school with African Americans, and you could not understand the injustices that went on back then. So just naturally you got involved, and I said then, and I still feel that way, that my activities were really just a representative of so many people who were so involved at that time.
Well, you joined some of the marches down south.
Yes.
So what was it like marching in the same group or close to people like Dr. Martin Luther King and Dr. Ralph Abernathy and Jesse Jackson and Fred Shuttlesworth and people like that? Were you at any time afraid that, knowing that there's violence and danger all around you, did you ever have any fear of being in that group, and did you ever experience some of that violence?
Well, I experienced the violence in Cincinnati, actually, when I was on talk radio shows. But essentially, you know, there would be something that would come up, like, for instance, I was chairman in Ohio of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. And the 3 boys that were killed were part of our organization, Cheney, Schwerner, and Goodman. And it was really strange because people would go down there. We did this thing, it was called One Man, One Vote. We did the Mississippi Freedom Project, which was registering people all throughout the South. And at the time, there were so many brave people that were really on the front lines, and I wasn't that person. I wasn't people like Ruthie and Bill Hanson, who were friends of mine, who were legendary civil rights workers, who came to our home in Cincinnati one time, and we were very friendly, and said, you know, we need a new car. We need not new, but a vehicle to get around in, to go to all these various little towns in Arkansas. So my wife at the time, Diane, who's still my wife at this time.
And that's a long time. How many years?
That's 57 years. Said to me, listen, we have a large family. We have this 57 Dodge convertible. Why don't we just give it to them, because we need a new car anyway. So I went and we gave them this car, and it was this funny thing. Several months ago, I happened to have been watching a program on television where they were auctioning off classic cars, and there was this 57 yellow Dodge convertible.
Was that you? It was
and I
yours?
was thinking, it may not be mine, but the auctioneer was saying, okay, 25,000, 30,000, 35,000. And all of a sudden, I thought to myself, well, this is a pretty good gift I gave away. But then I recognized the fact that the good that this car was able to do by registering voters was far better than any value I would have gotten at that time. I don't think it was the same car, but it just kind of gave me those memories.
So, just one more question about this. When you were standing up on stage, waiting to be recognized, and you heard Toni Morrison being called and Fred Shuttlesworth, what was going through your mind?
Well, it was a really, really super humbling experience, more so than I really thought it would be. Because Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth, I had a lot of opportunity to work with, because after he left Alabama, after the bombing of the churches, etc., he moved to Cincinnati, Ohio, and that's where we were. So just being on that stage and hearing what was going on, it was truly humbling, and I felt in many ways you almost feel you're not deserving of this honor, because there were so many wonderful, courageous people at the time who helped change the way America feels and looks.
You got involved in the civil rights movement because it was the right thing to do. How did you get involved in the music business?
Well, I went to the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music, and I was a musician. And so I was in business at the time, and I was having a little problem with my health. I wasn't feeling that good. My doctor said, well, do you like what you're doing? I said, no. They said, well, why don't you do what you really like? I said, well, that would be being involved in the music business. My role in the business was always that of somebody who was always somewhat of an entrepreneur and looking to be creative and promoting really exciting things, whether it be Etta James, who I did a favor for, when their manager said she's just getting out of rehab, will you put her on in a concert? And I did. Or people like, I would do shows with a Holly Woodlawn, or people that were just absolutely ridiculous. But it was so important just to be part of that whole scene during those very, very formative and wonderful years.
Well, thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And now here are some more sights and sounds from Lincoln Road. here tonight?
To help fundraise for the South Florida Youth Symphony for our trip to New York City.
And what what does that mean for your trip to New York City?
It means, well, it means a lot because we get to go perform against other schools or any other group around the country and hopefully win a prize.
Wow. Have you ever done anything like this before?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
We went to Washington, D.C. last year. We competed and we got 3rd place.
Wow. How did it feel to compete?
It was fun because during the same time we got to tour around Washington, D.C. and get to see the sights.
So you get all these extra perks for being in an orchestra. That's great for just about anybody. And could you explain a little bit more about how this group came to Lincoln Road?
Well, the City of Miami Beach has a program where groups like ours can apply for spots to perform on Lincoln Road, and it's called the Lottery of Miami Beach. And we won a spot, so we are able to bring a group like this here every Friday night from 7:30 to 9:30 for about 2 months to perform and hopefully raise some funds to help the kids get to New York City.
Sometimes butterflies fly above our heads as we lay in the fields and we go up and down and around and just scream for love. I love the way that you smile, love the way that you lie, love the way that you cry.
Go!
Sometimes people say I'm insane 'cause I forget my name, 'cause to me we are all the same. One soul, one heart.
You know how sometimes we have a little bit more of this and a little bit less of that, or a little bit more of that and a little bit less of this? Well, this week I think we showed some of the flavor that makes us appreciate being alive on South Beach.
And this is aside from the major events that occur here, like the boat show and the food festival and things that are coming up. It's really the people. And I hope you enjoy the taste of meeting some of the people that make South Beach, South Beach.
I'm Dina Stewart.
And I'm Stuart Stewart.
And we're alive on South Beach for syndicatednews.net.
Have a great week.